Hi friends, good evening and a very warm welcome. So in today's class we will understand something called the paste special options or window or functions which we have in our Excel sheet, in our Excel, in MS Excel. Now this is one of the very helpful supporting tools whenever we are working on the data or text or maybe some of the functions which we perform. So first of all, what is the keyboard shortcut for bringing in the space special window is Control Alt and V. Okay, what happened? Why is it not? Sorry. Okay, so if I simply press Control Alt and V, you see that nothing happens. So for paste special window to be activated, I have to first copy certain data, either a single cell or a group of cell. So you press Control C to copy any cell. Okay, it can be a blank cell also, that doesn't matter. So I can copy any blank cell also. Then I press Control Alt and V. The moment I press Control Alt and V, you see this paste special window, right? Which has lots of different functions and commands here. So we'll understand each one of them today. Fine. So let's start with the basic one. Okay. So you know that in Excel, if you simply just control and paste your values, okay, Excel by default it always pastes the formula, right? So in the paste special window, okay, in the paste special window, okay, by default Excel always selects the formula. So if you just it always selects the all option. So if you just want to copy paste the formula, you have to select the formula option. Okay, now let's say I want to okay, let me first explain this data, which is a very basic data here. I just created two random table, okay, which are the hard coded value, and then I have used another column to multiply this two formula two data, sorry, which is a formula. So all this cell are formula linked. Okay, now let's say I want to copy paste this data, okay, on this column, but I don't want formula to be copied, because if I just simply control and copy paste the formula, you see that the referencing also gets copied, right? So instead of giving me 1258, it's multiplying B into C for B column into C column for me and giving me a different value. But I want this exact value to be here. Okay, so basically what I want is, I don't want formula to be copied, but I only wanted to copy the value and paste the value for me. So what I do is, I select this entire table by using Control Shift and down arrow. I copy this data by using Control C. I come to this cell, okay, where I want to paste my data, and I press Control Alt and V. Okay, so you see this paste special window, and I click on values. So value here basically stand for, it will not copy the formula, but it will only copy the values for me. Okay, and you see that the values have been copied without any link or references. Clear? So this is one of the most used feature of the paste special window, wherein I don't want the formula to be copied but only the values for me, and once I paste the value, I see that all the formula linkage has gone, but it only pastes the value of the given cell for me. The value can be anything, it can be a numeric data or a text data. Okay, so let's understand the other options on this paste special window. Okay, so after value you have something called format. This is again a very useful feature. Let's say here I want to write result. Okay, I have written result. Now I want this result to be formatted in the same manner as cell A3 or B3. Okay, so one option is I use this paintbrush. Okay, the other option is I control this cell. Okay, I place my cursor here where I want the format to be copied. Let's say both this cell. I again press Control Alt V, okay, and go and select the format tab. Okay, so you see that the moment I press on format, only the format got copied and pasted. The value remains still same, that is the result, but the format has now been changed to the same cell as cell A or B, A3 or B3, right? This is again very used feature of this paste special window, that you can simply copy paste the format rather than the value or the formula. Okay, then you have something called comments. Okay, so what does a comment do? First of all, you know that in Excel, let's say I want to define what, if I am sending this file to someone else and I want to tell them that what do we mean by this result. So I can write a comment for this cell. How do we write a comment? I press Shift and F2. So you see that the moment I write Shift and F2, this comment window comes. So let me say Varun. Varun is the author of this comment. Okay, and let me write a comment. Multiplies the first two column, and I say okay. The moment I place my focus my cursor anywhere other than this cell, the comment window goes away. But if I click here, if I place my cursor on this particular cell where we have the comment, you will see that the comment window appears. Okay. So let's say if I want to copy this comment for some other cell, okay, and only the comment, okay, so I can do Control C. I come to this cell and I again press Alt Control V and I click on the comments. Okay, so this will help you copy paste only the comment and nothing else. So you see that the comment has been copied, but none of the other data has been copied. Clear? Similarly, we have something called validation. So when you remember that when we were studying the validation class, I told you that if you have created a validation in a particular cell, okay, and you want to copy paste that validation criteria for the other cells, you can use this validation option. So it will only copy paste the validation criteria and nothing else. Okay. Similarly, if you want to copy paste, let's say the column width, or you want to copy paste everything other than the border, you want to use all using source theme, you can choose this window. If you want to use formula and number format, you can use this option. If you want value and number format, you can use this. Okay, let's say for example now, let me highlight this cell. Okay, now I want to copy paste this formula. Okay, but you see that if I simply do Control C and Control V, okay, it also copy pastes the format for me. Okay, it doesn't retain the original format of the cell. If I want to do that, what I will do is Control Alt Control V. What happened? Yeah, Control Alt V. Why is it not working? Okay, just give me a second. Control C, then Control Alt V. Okay, and I choose this option called formula and number format. So it will copy the formula and only the number formats for me. Okay, okay. So 1 second. I have already deleted the earlier formula. So what I will do is Control C, Control Alt V. Okay, so I will choose this formula and number format. So you see that it copy pasted the formula for me while still retaining the format of the original cell. This is very useful when we have a given template to us, but we want to copy the data or the value of the formula from other cells. So in that case, we don't want the format of the template to be changed. So this is where we can use this particular command. Okay, so rather than just simply copy pasting the data, okay, you can use this option called formula and number formats. Clear? So this is all about pasting with different formatting or values, comments, etc. Now let's look to the second part of this paste special window, which is the operation. This is again not very explored, but a very useful feature in paste special window. Now let's say this data, okay, this data is, let's say, in USD million, okay, or let me say it's in USD billion. Okay, I want it to change, okay, to USD million. Okay, that is I want this data to be multiplied by 1000, because you know that 1 billion is equal to 1000 million. So I can just first copy paste this value, Alt ESV. Okay. Now what I basically want is, I want each of this data to be multiplied with 1000. Okay, so either I can use a formula, that is this cell into 1000. Okay, but let's say I don't want this formula to be there. Okay, so in that case what I will do is, in a blank cell, anywhere in the blank cell, just write 1000, because that's your multiplier. Use Control C, because you know that without Control C anyway a paste special window will not work. Press Control Alt V. Okay, and then in the operation you have this 4 basic operation, that is add, subtract, multiply and divide. So in this case, since I want to multiply, Control C, come to this cell where you want to use the multiplier operation, press Control Alt V and click on multiply. The moment you click on multiply, what will Excel do is, it will multiply this 1000 with all this cell. Okay, so here you go. Okay, so again, if you want to retain the original format along with multiplier option, also click on formula and number format. So you see that your data got multiplied, but it still retains the original format. Clear? Okay, it doesn't work only with the static value, but also with the formula. Sorry. So let's say if I want to multiply with this cell with in this cell, so here you will see that Control Alt V, I use multiply. So here you will see that it will give you the value multiplied by 1000, and it will also retain the formula for me. So you see that it has also retained the formula into 1000 for me. Clear? Okay. Similarly, you can use the other options in the operation, that is I'm so sorry guys, just give me a second. Sorry. Yeah, so I can also use pardon me. I can also use the add, subtract, divide, anything. So let's say now I want to divide this particular column, okay, or let me say okay, let me create another table here, equal to this into this into say this. Okay, I'm just creating some random value, don't worry about it. So now I want to subtract this entire table, column number D, or let me take another example so that it's useful for you. So let's say this is the cost, this is the revenue. Okay, so this is my cost. Now this column becomes my cost, this column becomes my revenue, and I want to calculate my gross profit. Okay, and this is in this particular column itself. So gross profit is nothing but ideally my revenue minus cost. Okay, so rather than calculating gross profit in a separate cell, I can directly calculate gross profit here. How I do that is it will say this minus this, but I want this minus this. Okay, so let me copy this entire column, press Control Alt V, okay, or yeah, Control Alt V, and if I click on subtract, okay, in this case it will throw a negative value, because ideally what it will do is it will subtract this cell. Okay, no, sorry, it's a mistake, sorry. Let me first copy this data, come to this entire column, okay, and then say Control Alt V, and let me click on subtract. So you will see that this entire cost gets subtracted from the revenue cell by cell. Okay, what happened? Oh, because it's a formula. Okay, my mistake. Let me first make it a let me make this one as a value, nothing to worry about. Okay, and let me just to show you an example, let me just create this revenue table again. Control Alt V. Okay, so now let us calculate the gross profit, saying, let's say if I don't want to link it to a formula, so I use Control Alt V and I click on the subtract option and I say okay. So you see that this cell is nothing but my gross profit, which is revenue minus cost. So rather than doing the calculation, okay, if let's say if it's a defined template where you don't have an option to insert another table or something, and you have the cost readily available, so you can change your cost column to your gross profit column by using the paste special window operations. Clear? So you can use any of this operation, multiply, divide, add, subtract, anything. Okay, so let's say again if I want to transfer this unit to $1 billion, so you say Control Alt V, and this time you click on divide and you say done. Right, so this is some of the useful feature of the paste special window, wherein you want to perform certain operation along with pasting the value. Right, let's look at the last leg of the paste special window. Okay, so there are two things. One is transpose. Okay, now you guys are aware of what is a transpose by now. Okay, so I'll tell you two easy way to transpose a data. We have studied the transpose function, if you remember, when we started the array class. Okay, so if you want, you can go and refer there, but let us continue with the easy way to do a transpose function. So let's say I want to transpose this data. Transpose simply means changing your column to cell and vice versa. Okay, so I can use this paste special window function, wherein I copy this data, okay, and I press Control Alt V, okay, and I click on the transpose and okay. So you see that the entire data got transposed just by a click of button. Clear? Okay. Okay, now since you have already also studied the name function, okay, we can also use the name function command to transpose a data by using the transpose function. How do we do that? Is simply, first of all, you select the entire data. Control F3 will bring the name manager window. Go to new, create a file, create a name. Let me call it transpose data. D stands for data, so I'm using the word transpose. Okay, and I click on OK. The name got created. So here I write. Okay, this will, I'll have to select the range now. So how many number of columns do we have here? 14. In fact 15. So I'll have to select 15 columns. Okay, and I write a formula transpose. Okay, so rather than now linking, okay, I misspelled it. So rather than writing the entire formula, I can now just simply name it as transpose and I say bracket closed. Okay, and I press Ctrl Shift and enter. Why Ctrl Shift and enter? Because you know that when we are working on an array in Excel, so rather than just simply pressing Ctrl, we always have to press the Ctrl Shift and enter. So you see that this is how a name function is useful for defining a group of cells. Clear, guys? Okay, so coming back to our paste special window, and the last part or the last function in the paste special window is your skip blank. Okay, so let's see how is that useful. Okay, yeah, let's say I have a data something like this. Okay, fine. So let me use just this for example. Let me delete the rest of the data. Okay, yeah, so here we are. So let me first copy paste the format. You know that I use the format option, right? Now let's say this particular cell is blank and this particular cell is also blank. Okay, so now this was my original data wherein we have the score of some of the student. Okay, and there were certain blank cells. Okay, so I got this data from a third person, and instead of blank cell I did a research that why is the cell blank, and I go and give my comment. So I say, let's say student was absent. Okay, here I come and say that found cheating. Okay, so whatever, basically you are just changing the data. Fine. Now okay, sorry, so okay, let me first create a copy of this data. Okay, yeah, so this was my original data with blank cells. Okay, and then I modified the data with my comment for the blank cells. Okay, now let's assume that due to some reason this original data gets modified. Okay, the score gets changed. Fine, I'm just trying to create a practical situation where this function which I'm trying to explain you might be useful to you. Okay, now I need to again copy paste this data on this cell. Okay, but if I just simply copy paste this data, so whatever comment, whatever hardcode research I have done why the blank cell is there will go off, which is definitely not what we want. So in this case what we do is we copy the data. Okay, we come to this cell where we have to paste the data. Again, bring out this paste special window by pressing Ctrl Alt V and use skip blanks. Okay, so if I press skip blanks, what will happen is it will skip the blank cell while copying the data or pasting the data. Okay, so you see that the updated data has been pasted here without removing our blank cell comments. Right? Again, very limited application of this function, but at times it's really very useful to us. Clear? So this is what we have in the paste special window. I hope it will be useful, especially the pasting the format or the value or pasting the formula without changing the destination cell formatting or using one of this operator which we studied. Okay guys, see you again in the next class. Thank you.